Yes, my people, welcome back to another episode of Where's My Podcast. And today we're joined by another special guest. We're joined by my guy Josh, the founder of Swamp. Josh,
nice to meet you.
Bro, very nice to meet you. And I'm happy you said it like that because, bro, obviously you're the mysterious man. Yeah. So I didn't know what. We spoke in the DMs and that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you look like, didn't know what you get. I could just tell you're a good brother and your brand is sick. Yeah. But obviously, Josh, off camera, he was telling me that you watch our content and whatnot, so I appreciate that. Yeah. So you would have seen that at the beginning of every podcast episode, I basically just explain why you, the guest, are in the chair. Yeah. And with you, it's interesting because more often than not, with me, when I reach out to people, it's not necessarily just because of just what they produce, but also who they are. Because like I get a flavor of what the conversation could potentially be like when I'm able to see their personality and whatnot. But obviously, when I've found your brand and I've clicked,
it's nothing.
You get it? Like nothing. I'm like, what's this? There's just pure mystique. Yeah. Even your picture, your face isn't even there, bro. I just see the blonde hair. You get it? So I'm just there thinking, I need to chat to this guy. Like, I need to get to know him, bro. Because when I first saw Swamp, bro, it was like nothing I've ever seen before in my life. And I think it's testament to the strength of your brand, the fact that I reached out or we reached out, even when you haven't necessarily got like that personal brand. You get what I'm saying? Because literally, I was endeared to the brand because it just looks so sick, bro. Then obviously, I read the New Wave interview from a few years back or whatever, and I got a bit of a flavor of what the brand stand for and whatnot, and it endeared me to the brand more so than just the designs. But initially, do you know what piece it was?
What?
Do you know? Try guess. I want to see. Because you've got a few sick ones.
What, are you talking about recent ones or time ago?
Not time ago, like
recent.
Yeah.
What, the one that you probably say is number one for
you?
Yeah.
What do you think like got my attention? I know exactly which one it was. I'll never forget.
I'll say it's out of two.
Go on.
One is the I Want to Fly but I'm Afraid to Fall.
Is that wait, what does that look like again?
It's got
Baby blue.
Yeah. Is that it?
How did you know?
I don't know. I had a feeling.
Bro, you see that piece? I said, yo, I need that. But because it looks so mad to me, I didn't even bother clicking because I thought the price would be too nuts or something.
It's not.
It's good. It's good price. I checked afterwards. It's good price and like. Yeah. But bro, when I saw that, it was like nothing I'd ever seen before, bro. Yeah. Like, I genuinely couldn't liken your stuff to any other brand, bro. And that's what made me be like, yo, I need to contact Josh and we need to chop it up, bro. So, obviously, that's why you're here. Yeah. Thank you for coming. But, as you know, at the beginning of every episode, we take it straight back to the beginning. Like, so what was your background like? Where did you grow up and whatnot?
Yeah. So I was born around here, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, around like Dulwich, Peckham, around that area.
Real South way.
Yeah. So I mean, South was all right back then, but that's during the time of, like Damilola Taylor or that madness that was going on. So my mum moved us to East London, Barking, when I was, I can't even remember. I know I moved schools in year 3. So I moved schools and left Peckham to go to East London, Barking, to start schooling there. Things were different. Obviously, I was away from like cousins that I was used to like growing up. I was constantly going to their houses, and then I don't know, it was a shift for me, but I'll say I didn't have like a bad upbringing, to be honest. I'm not even gonna be one of those people that will be like, oh yeah, I was struggling to make ends meet. Nah, like my mom and dad, we were good. We weren't rich, but I mean, we were good. Like, just a calm upbringing.
And then, obviously in East London and whatnot. Yeah. I was gonna ask what were the differences because you were so young. It's like you don't really. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I was probably too young to be cognizant of what was going around. Yeah. Obviously, I knew that South London was like a rough area, but I was just too young and just oblivious. Yeah, I was too young and oblivious to know any of that. Yeah. So yeah, I can't even compare it to be honest.
Literally.
I just have East London where I pretty much grew up. That's it, pretty much. Yeah.
Do you know what? I love asking this question. Like, where would you say fashion started becoming like a thing to you? Because obviously, when you're young, you wear clothes. Everybody has to wear clothes. Naturally, you end up just dressing like your friends or whatever.
Yeah.
But when did you kind of realize that you cared about fashion?
That's a good question. Probably in college, maybe. College, first year of uni kind of thing. That's when, you know, Yeezy came out and all of that. I just like the aesthetic, to be honest.
Simple as that.
As simple as that. I've never been, we'll probably talk about it later, but I've never been that type of person like in school that I'm so good at design. I was good at drawing, like, but animation. I wasn't good at drawing like figures, like human beings. But I was never that type of like artsy sort of person. I just like the way a piece looks, and I'll just be like, oh, I like that.
And you didn't really think past that?
Nah, not really.
So what was it about like the Yeezys type of aesthetic? And what year was this, sorry? Like,
this was time ago. This was like, I believe it was first year of uni.
So like 2013?
Yeah, exactly. 2013, bang on, yeah. Exactly then, that's when I kind of discovered about like Kanye West, Yeezy, oversized fits, distressing, like all
bomber
of this.
jackets.
Yeah, I was just like, oh yeah, this is wavy. And I just kind of, I don't know, I just got drawn to it. Yeah, that's literally the only reason why I kind of went into fashion, because, and it's not even that I wanted to start a brand. I just liked those type of clothing.
Yeah,
that's it.
And then did it become something like where? Because it's interesting you say this, because somebody that we interviewed with, Dolo, who's like similar age to you, he pretty much said the same thing. Like that was kind of his entry point into fashion. And then part of his desire for starting a brand was that he kind of wanted to make clothes like that. Do you get what I'm saying? So with you, okay, you had an interest in fashion now of the Yeezy stuff. How did you get to the point where he was like, you know what, I want to make my own clothes? You know what I mean?
Mine's a weird story.
God,
I was never like, it's not like a typical person where they're thinking, oh, I've got like a message to prove, or I've got like so much designs in like my notebook that I want to basically convey this to the world. Or I'd had none of that. None of that. It was literally just one day on a train after work. I was just sitting on the train. Obviously, this kind of goes back to the name Wyatt Swamp, basically. My Instagram handle was called Call Me the Swamp before it is what it is right now. Like my name, Josh Oluko. It was actually Call Me the Swamp. I got that name because of a rapper called L Sweatshirt. He released a song called Swamp Vermin. And I just loved that song so much that I took Swamp and I wanted that to be my name. So back in the day, I used to do all that fashion pics, you know, everyone, you might be in like Canary Wharf and just posing. All them kind of streetwear. So you were kind of vlogging then? Yes, I was obviously doing that kind of streetwear modeling type of thing, trying to be like the next Yeezy model kind of thing. And then because my name was Call Me the Swamp, there was a time after work basically that I just thought, I don't know why, I just randomly thought, oh, that's weird how society just kind of makes you feel like you need to act a certain way or do a certain thing. Like you kind of have to escape their kind of paradigm to kind of think what you want to think, like do whatever you want to do. Don't let other people coerce you to kind of do something. So I just thought, oh yeah, that would be cool if I could come up with a name that kind of ran with like society kind of thing.
Wait. So at this point on the train,
I'm just randomly thinking this in my head.
You're thinking about starting a clothing line?
No, I'm just thinking about a name, basically.
But it has no
correlation. Yeah. But then I watched a movie called Society. I think it got released in 1989, and it was about how a boy and his family, his family was part of like this cult, and they tried to coerce him to basically join this cult, and it was basically about society manipulating people to kind of do certain things, like
to conform.
Yeah, to conform to society. So that's where the inspiration came from. So then I was thinking, oh yeah, society will always like manipulate people. It didn't click yet. It didn't click yet. I was just like, oh man, but society will always manipulate people. How would I tie that into Swamp? Bro, I was just like, then it clicked. I was just like, SWAMP. Oh my days.
Wait, was this on the same train
This was on
journey?
the train journey. I was just like, so it's not like, you know how brands are going through recycling names, trying to think of like the acronym. Bro, mine was literally the first name I just came up with.
That's so mad.
And I didn't think of Swamp first. I had Swamp the name before the brand.
That's crazy.
Like, it's weird.
That's really weird,
the
bro.
opposite. Like, literally, it's so weird. But yeah, I just told my friend this story, and she was just like, that's weird. It's beyond weird. But that's how I went into it. Yeah.
So that's how. But at this point, what was Swamp? It was just.
I just thought the message that I want to convey is how society kind of conforms you to be a certain way or to do certain things. I just thought, oh yeah, let me just try create some designs that kind of stem from that.
Okay.
Just create a hoodie. I was never that type of fashion person. I just thought maybe this is a good way to kind of show it. Yeah, to convey that message.
Why did you, obviously you had watched the film. What do you think it was about you that made you want to convey such a message though? Because it's a strong message, an important one. Do you know what I mean?
It's a strong.
So like for a young man that's just coming back from work and whatnot, usually you would be thinking about what we're gonna eat for dinner or girls or something. You know how it goes. But you were thinking about that.
Yeah. To be frank, I don't know why I was thinking of that. I'm quite. It's weird. I pick up on little things like, for example, like where I get my inspiration from is weird. Like I analyze movies to a whole different level. Like when a good movie's on, I'm not even thinking about, oh damn, they're acting well. I'm thinking about, oh damn, that transition was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh damn, like the way that camera panned from left to right. Oh damn, that zoom. Like the intricate stuff I'm thinking about. And I was thinking, why do I think about those little details?
Yeah.
I'll be telling my wife, oh, damn, did you see that pan?
Yeah, he's like, what pan?
Yeah, she's like, what pan? Yeah, so that's the thing. So I don't know. I just pick up on little things and I just noticed that even the way I was acting in a way to kind of please other people. That's when I started thinking society does kind of manipulate people to kind of move a certain way. That's why I wanted to convey that message. Okay. That's how it happened.
Well, what did you don't have to answer this, but
yeah,
what did you see yourself doing that showed you were conforming?
It wasn't even just me, for example. It's just everything in general. We're probably going to end up talking about it. Just like social media as well, how you have to portray that you're like living your best life and all of this. I don't like that. I don't like that. For example, I might go out my way, buy my mum a car. Deep down, why do you need to show the internet that you bought your mum a car? If you think about it, you're looking for gratification. You're looking for people to be like, oh damn, big up you, like you did that. Oh man, like I'm jealous of that. You can just do it in silence. Gift your mum the car and that's it. If people know, they know. But yeah, people just, I don't know. Social media is a weird space. And that's why I kind of had to take a break and just separate myself. I didn't like the stuff that came with it.
Okay.
I like getting inspired, but there's plenty of things I don't like.
Yeah, so that's why when I came across you, there wasn't nothing there.
Exactly. And
do you know what's mad? Yeah. Deep. I didn't even deep that. So there was a point where you was on it heavy, obviously doing the...
I was on it heavy.
The blogger type thing.
Yeah, I was on it heavy, like bags of pictures. Back when I used to do the modeling thing, yeah. But nah, but when I started my brand, I kind of noticed that that's the thing with new brands, you get so fixated on other brands. It's so bad. I felt in myself that I was competing with other people when I was thinking, I just need to stay in my own lane, just focus on what I'm doing. I was comparing too much. I was just like, oh, this guy did this in 2 years. Why am I not doing this in 2 years? Oh, this guy did this in 6 months. Why am I not doing that? People show like screenshots of, oh, look how much I earned on that, yeah, look how many orders or whatever. This was back when I started in 2017. I was like, damn, that's crazy. That's why I think it was 2 years ago. I just thought, yeah, like, allow this, like, Instagram, like.
Okay, I thought you was going to say you thought to quit or something.
Nah. I was just thinking, nah, Instagram, nah. Yeah. I'm just not about it. Like, I still show my face on my clothing brand.
Yep.
Like I still post stories on my personal one here and there,
Yeah.
rarely, but here and there. But I just don't like what social media, or just people on social media, I should say. That's why I don't very rarely
Makes sense.
use it. Yeah.
Makes sense. And again, it's not by force.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? It all depends on your character or whatever. And what you use social media for, really.
Yeah.
But back to the train.
Yeah.
So cool. You thought of Swamp.
Mm-hmm.
You realized that it makes sense, and it really made sense.
Yeah.
And then it was like, cool, I want to put it on a hoodie. What did you do after that?
A bit of research.
How did you research? This is like, when I asked you that question, this is like market research for me, because I want to know where people get their information from.
This is research. Like a lot of people gatekeep, like obviously, you know, like manufacturers and stuff like that. To an extent, I get it. You can't stroll into Nike and be like, yo, what manufacturer do you use? Come on, man. Like, of course, if it's like your boy or something, you probably hook him up. Yeah,
exactly.
But random people will just be asking like, oh yeah, what manufacturer do you use or whatever. But I had to research. Like, there's nothing else you can do. But the thing is, I messed myself up from the jump.
Go on.
There's a thing called scarcity creates demand. I should have implemented that at the start.
What were you doing at the start?
At the start, I was thinking, I got 2,000, 3,000 followers on Instagram, my personal one, because I was doing modeling.
Yeah, okay.
I was doing, so I was doing all that streetwear, Yeezy type of modeling. So I was thinking, people rate me. So I was thinking, if I start a brand, people jump on. So I thought, I hit up a manufacturer, just searching online, where do you find manufacturers or whatever. But I didn't know it was a middleman, and he was getting it outsourced from wherever he was getting it outsourced. I think I found out it was Pakistan or something. Okay. Because when that box came, it didn't say England.
You're thinking what?
That said somewhere in Pakistan. So I was like, that's weird, but cool. That's calm. I thought it would be easy to get rid of 50 hoodies. I thought it would be easy.
Because you had X amount of
women. Yeah. I was just thinking 50,
light
that's
work.
Light.
I was even thinking about the next order.
Literally, I was thinking, drop this, next order is probably like 2 weeks. None of that happened. Bam, I kid you not. I got my first order probably, a lot of people won't even say this. I got my first order 2 days after I dropped, or 1 day after I dropped. Okay. Guess when the next piece sold?
When?
Fam, it didn't sell.
What?
3-4 months later, that's when the next order came in.
So you had 49
hoodies. I had to put on a facade as if
it was selling.
It was all good. I didn't even pretend it was selling. I was just marketing, but what I was doing for marketing back then is not marketing.
What were you doing?
Posting pictures on Instagram, and that's it. That's the thing. It's like, I didn't do enough research. I didn't do enough research at all. And that's the biggest mistake I made. Like, someone should have told me, but no one owes you nothing. Like, no one's going to just tell you. No one's going to give you handouts. So that's what I was pissed. I was so pissed. I was thinking, oh, damn, I think I even cried that day.
I was going to say, like, how does that affect you mentally? Because this story isn't unique. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, when they're first starting, naturally go through that. Do you get what I mean? So how did you kind of deal with it?
To be honest, I didn't. I couldn't deal with it, because 4 months without just selling like 2-3 pieces, that's beyond poor. So I didn't even know what to do. So I went to my mum. I was just like, it's not even selling. Like, I was thinking, is this even the right thing for me? Because that's the thing. There's a scientist that says, I'm sure you've heard like the saying, numbers don't lie or whatever. There's a Canadian scientist that said numbers may not lie, but people's perception of it may differ.
So
that's true, because you may look and say, this person has 2,000, 3,000 followers, calm. They're obviously getting orders. Someone else's eyes, they might be like, that's not necessarily true, because 10%, 30% of your followers are customers. Then 10% of those are actual people that will buy. So if you think about it logically, that's no orders, man. So that's the thing I needed to actually think in that point of time. I wasn't thinking that. I was just thinking, Numbers don't lie. 3,000, get rid of 50 quick. Nah, it was a struggle.
And you was obviously, so when you said you was uploading pictures, you were wearing the hoodies yourself and whatnot.
Nah, I was like my friend. That was the only model. I didn't have money like that.
And how were the pictures performing on Instagram?
They're all right. That's the thing. Like when you're starting a brand, is like there's only so much you can do and say that this is luxury. I was in the headspace of my brand is luxury.
What made you?
I don't know. People jump onto this luxury wave and just be like, my brand's luxury. What's luxury though? Like what is actually luxury?
And what did you think luxury was at that time?
At that time, I was just thinking, this is the heaviest cotton that they have right now on the market. I'm using that. Oh, it must mean that it's luxury. Not really. It boils down to individuals. They might think like, that's not luxury to me. Like, it's different. It's so subjective.
Extremely, because food is a luxury to some people.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's crazy, but I jumped onto that wave of I wanted to be a luxury brand.
Yeah, like a luxury streetwear brand.
Yeah, exactly. And then I got the highest GSM possible at that point in time. The hoodie was black. There was just prints on the sleeve. It had a strong message. But really, what's going to make people pull out their money and pay for something? The design has to be good.
Okay.
At the start, when you're beginning a brand, people don't know how it feels like. People don't know what you're trying to convey as being luxury. The design needs to speak volumes. Mine had a strong meaning behind it, but it was black and just had a print on the arms. Yeah. It wasn't a strong enough design at all. And to this day.
Obviously, before at the beginning, you were saying that you were good with the animations and stuff like that. How come you went for really simple design to start with? Was that on purpose?
Yeah, it was on purpose because I was thinking, I was just such in a headspace of I've got a strong context. I've got a strong meaning behind this piece. Each of my pieces, there was literally a story behind it. That's why people, when they call me a designer, I don't even call myself a designer. I literally call myself and I address myself like an author. I literally want every piece to be like a chapter in a book. So you're to look at that piece and be like, okay, I see. Like he's literally painting a vivid picture for me of what's going on. So in that particular piece, I used the soliloquy in the Hamlet.
Okay.
To be or not to be. So I was saying, are you gonna conform to society or not conform? So there was a strong message, but people looking at it, they'll just be like, oh, what's to be or not to be?
Yeah.
And because I was an unknown brand, no one's gonna know the story behind it unless they talk to me.
Do you know what's so interesting, Josh? Because it's like you had the right thinking, but I don't know, it just weren't. But my question was like, because this was obviously your first foray into fashion, and I feel like storytelling is something that people are kind of understanding now, because people that have achieved, like for example, in so many of Virgil's interviews, you need to tell a story. You need to tell a story. Jerry Lorenzo, have a point of view, tell a story. How did you know that you needed to do that at that point?
I just always wanted to tell a story of my brand. Like I think I'll say the person that I resonate most with is Jerry Lorenzo, to be honest. Obviously he's a Christian, I'm a Christian. The thing is, like, I didn't want my brand to be, this is no offense to like Christian brands. I don't know much, but obviously there's going to be a point in time that Christian brands, other people that are not Christians are going to feel alienated. If I go and put on my shirt,
John
3:16, Jesus is King, Jesus is Lord. What about other people that are atheists? What about other people that are Muslims? They're going to be like, oh, can I wear this? If you look at Fear of God, do you ever see them doing that?
Nope.
If you look at Ev Bravado with his brand called Who Decides War, he's a Christian. Does he ever do that? Not really. He shows symbolisms that convey that message that he's clearly a Christian. Sometimes visual representation is stronger than putting text to say Jesus is the way. Sometimes you can literally convey that through imagery.
Yeah.
That's the way I took it. I didn't want it to be so blatantly obvious that this person's a Christian, or he's going to be a Bible basher, he's just trying to make me. I didn't want any of that. So that's why I've said this from a jump. In no way, shape or form am I like a Christian brand. It's just a Christian owner. That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And thinking back to, and I'm happy we're having this part of the conversation, because when I've obviously went back and I saw the interview and I saw what the brand used to look like and I compare it to what it looks like now,
different,
bro.
really different.
Between me and you, but obviously everyone's listening, I kept checking to see whether I've got the right brand. Like, as in, I'm clicking your name on Instagram, then I'm clicking Swamp in there just to make sure it's the right Swamp, because it was so different, bro.
Really different.
So obviously, let's go back to you not being able to sell the 50 orders and whatnot.
Yeah.
Did that make you say to yourself, you know what, something needs to change?
No. No, that's the thing, no. Like, word for word, my mum just said, it doesn't matter. People don't want to see or won't buy from a brand that has one product on their website.
Wow, your mum knew that?
Yeah.
What was your
My
mum?
mum had a business herself.
Okay,
she had a
that's
shop,
what I was about to say.
so she knows about business.
Okay.
She was saying, if you've got a website, someone else has a website that's got 20 items, variation, and you've got a website that's got one item that's still sitting there. Which one would someone go to?
It's 20, naturally.
Someone that has a variety of stuff. That's what I wasn't thinking. I was just thinking, I need to sell out these 50 before I move on. She was just like, no, you need to have options. Save up money, place another order. I had these 50 hoodies for ages. I kid you not, I literally had them since last year. I just gave them away.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I unlisted it from my website. I just thought, I'm going to give this to charity.
Yeah, good on you, man.
Gave them away. Literally like 20 that were left. Yeah.
So in 5 years, you sold 30 kind of?
Yeah, pretty much. And I unlisted it from my website 3 years ago, a while ago. And then leading up to your question, how you said about my next design, like how did I still conveyed the same message, but I wanted to basically make it more blatantly obvious. So I didn't make it as subtle like the last one that was just red text on the sleeves. I think it was, the next piece was, I made a collection called Enslaved, basically. This one was just beyond obvious. It was basically, I wanted to recreate a jumpsuit. Okay. So like the prison jumpsuit. Orange on the front, it said slave to society. And I basically created like a black, it was like a black cotton fabric on the cuffs, and then fabric kind of entangled together, which was dragging down to symbolize like cuffs. So basically, I was trying to say that society is basically has us like, enslaved, basically. That's what I was trying to convey. So that was like a strong,
really strong,
hard message.
Yeah.
Really unique, because I couldn't think of anyone that was doing something like that. Literally, if
the way you made it look.
Yeah, literally like a full on, look like a jumpsuit. And on the back, I think there was like a barcode. So as in like society's kind of paid for us kind of thing, for us to kind of be here. That's basically what I was trying to convey. So I still kept the message, but I made it more blatantly obvious and a bit more appealing to the masses. So I think that's what I changed. But the story behind the brand, I still kept it there.
You see that hoodie? So yeah, does that look like what Swamp looks like now?
Nah.
So this was even different in a sense.
This was,
as well.
Yeah, still back in 2017.
Okay.
I still kept that message, yeah.
Okay. So obviously now that you had multiple products, so 2 products on the website or whatever, did things start to change at that point?
Not really, you know, not really. Nah. I'm one in a bunch, like, nah. I'm honest, nah. It didn't. Brought out another one. Still thought, okay, let me keep to this message. Grey hoodie. Also big story behind it. There's a guy called Jeremy Bentham. This was back in the 18th century. I used to read up about loads of stuff. Like, as you could
Is
tell.
he like a religious philosopher or something like that?
I think he's a philosopher, if I remember. I can't even remember what he...
That Bentham name sounds really fat, like RE days.
Yeah, I think he was a philosopher, if I remember correctly, back in 18th century, like 17 something. He basically came up with a design, like a prison, called like Panopticon.
Yeah, why does that sound so familiar to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Panopticon, basically, he created this building that there was a watchman. Only the watchman can see everyone. But the people surrounded can never see who that watchman is.
Mm.
So I wanted to convey the message is like Big Brother, like how society kind of watches over us, but we never know the guy at the top who's controlling us, basically. That's literally what I designed and put on the hoodie, basically. Literally I carried on with that message, that strong message, hoping that just the uniqueness of like the brand will kind of outshine like how it looks like, basically.
Yeah.
But never did.
So at that point, you still feel like it didn't look good enough?
I feel like it did look good.
Mm.
I feel like it did look good, but I just feel like not a lot of eyes were seeing it.
Okay.
I feel like it was the right product, but at the wrong time. Yeah. But it is what it is. I learned a lesson from that.
You did. And I can tell you have. And what you produce now shows that you've learned, bro.
Yeah.
It really does. So in terms of my entry point, which is that I'm trying to fly, but I'm scared that... What's that one called?
I'm scared to fly. No, I want to fly, but I'm scared to fall.
Yeah. So that was my entry point into the brand and whatnot. Like, when did the brand start to look like that? Because for me...
Just that knitwear.
But that was like, honestly, Josh, that was like nothing I'd ever seen before, bro. Like, how did that even come into the equation? Like, it just seems so different, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So the thing is, like, you smell what sells, to be honest. Like, they always say that. I think I was watching like a YouTube video and I saw some girl showing like a collection of like these type of knitwears, like tapestry.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, what's this? Like, this looks weird. Like, this looks so different. And I was just searching. I was thinking, I've never seen a UK brand kind of do this type of knitwear before. So I thought, oh yeah, let me just kind of create a design, still keep that story, but put it on that type of knitwear. So then I created, that's when I started coming up with the designs. I kept, some of them were like biblical, not heavily, like too much, but you'll know that it's biblical.
Yep.
Then there was designs that I came up with, like that one that you're talking about. And that was basically based on things that I was going through, but people don't know.
People don't know, yeah.
People just think, oh, that's a cool design, but it's basically a story of my life.
What's that? Okay, so that particular, we're gonna end up going back, but that particular one I'm talking about, what was the story behind that then?
It's basically called I Want to Fly, but I'm afraid to fall. It's like, I want to get to the highest height. I'm just afraid of failure, basically. So I'm scared, like, the higher I go, it's gonna be like a big fall. The higher you climb on a ladder, if you fall down, the impact is crazy.
So you're not looking up, you were looking down.
I was constantly looking back, thinking, what if I fail the brand? What if I fail this? What am I gonna do? That's literally how the design came about, literally. But no one knows that. Nah.
And speaking of the knitwear stuff or whatever, obviously you're still doing it up until now. What was that like in terms of the creative process? Like, how did you learn how to make those type of garments? Because as you were saying, I don't really see a lot of brands doing that sort of knitwear. Do you get what I mean?
It was different. I mean, totally different. Obviously, you have to find a new manufacturer to do that type of knitwear. My previous manufacturer didn't do any of that, so I had to do some research to find out. And I've always been like an advocate for like learning pattern cutting and learning sewing. But the thing is, when it comes to like a clothing brand that you need to run and you need to scale up, bro, you can't do it yourself. It's impossible
to balance both.
You can't do it yourself, because people, that's the thing, like, I'll get back to it, but people kind of diminish people if they're not the ones actually doing the labor, basically. But if you think about it, if there's a house, there's a bricklayer, and then there's an architect, the person that designed the house. Who's the genius there? It's the person that actually came up with, like, conceptualized the whole house. It's not the person that just laid the bricks and created a house. They're the ones that designed it, so they should get more credit. But people kind of overlook them and be like, oh, you're not even designing it yourself. Bro, I'm still coming up with the ideas. Doesn't matter. No one's going to think of that idea.
But you are designing it yourself, though.
That's the thing. No, I've got a manufacturer that's designing it for me.
Okay.
But I'm coming up with the graphics that will actually go onto the
exactly. That's what I meant when I said
but some people kind of throw shade and be like, oh, but you're not doing it yourself, though. They do that nowadays.
Damn.
They do that.
Not to say I'm surprised by that, because I've heard that sort of rhetoric before, but like, I feel like with your brand and your pieces, it's for me, it's the graphic that speaks more than anything. Of course, it looks good in terms of the material and whatnot, but it's those stories that for example, there's obviously I was scrolling through your Instagram and there was loads of different ones that stood out to me, like the Simon, the Zealot one.
Oh, Simon, yeah.
Obviously, that's a Bible story, whatever. I know what a zealot is. That's somebody that's like crazy for their religion, basically. So that one stood out to me. But yeah, those graphics are like, bro, they're so cold, bro. How did you even learn how to do those?
That's the thing. It's either I design it myself or I will commission an oil painter to design something for me, basically. So for me to actually commission someone and basically use their painting, that painting needs to resonate so much with the brand or what I'm going through. Like there was one painter that I saw and the design I commissioned was Wrestling with Death, basically. Yes.
That one is wavy. That's where one, it's got like a ghost type thing, almost like Grim Reaper type thing. Yeah, that one is cold.
Yeah, it needs to transcend and it needs to relate to the brand. I'm not just going to use an oil painting if it has nothing to do with the brand. I think the first entry point to this kind of knitwear that I used was one of my favorite Dutch painters. I think it was from Peter Bruegel. I used the Netherlandish proverb. So he basically displayed all of these proverbs that still relate to society now and just convey that in one painting. And that's literally the entry point to this knitwear.
So that was the first time you kind of did it?
First ever piece. Yeah.
What was the reaction when you did it? Because obviously it was a stark contrast from what you were doing before.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy. Like, people liked it, but in a weird way. They were like, oh, like, you were just doing cotton hoodies, like a few months ago. Like, where's the cotton hoodies? Yeah. But I just got literally 2 samples of this because I was just like, okay, let me just check. I released 2 hoodies. One, the Binding of Isaac, where Abraham had to basically sacrifice his son. And the second one was the Netherlandish proverb. I released both of them. Because it's expensive to make and it was a sample, I had to charge them for like $120. Dropped it the same day. 2 minutes later, gone. I was like, what? Okay. This has never happened when I've released cotton hoodies, so what's going on here? That's when everything just flipped around. Released another one, went. Another one, went. I was thinking, okay, this is clearly something people haven't seen before. That's when I thought, okay, I might as well capitalize on this. So I went to research and see if there were other people doing it. There wasn't many. I saw a few in America,
but none.
But the thing is, there's other people doing tapestry, this type of knitwear, but all of them are doing the same thing. They're doing like these album covers, like Tyler the Creator, like doing ones of Michael Jordan. Mine, I wanted there to be a heavy story behind it. So I don't care if it's just tapestry. Whatever clothing or whatever fabric I'm using, there needs to be a message behind it. So I don't care about any of that celebrity putting that on a hoodie, like, because that don't mean nothing to me. There was no one, to this day, there is no one doing tapestry.
This is what I'm saying, this way.
Like, I can say that confidently.
I ain't seen it, bro. And I really be checking, bro. Like, I ain't seen nothing like it, bro.
Yeah, there is nothing. There's nothing. Yeah.
So, okay, cool. So now you're in the thick of things. And you're starting to sell stuff.
Yeah.
So now it's like, you haven't got just a clothing line or clothing brand, you've got a business as well.
Yeah.
So what was that like in terms of dealing with this increased demand and whatnot, working with these different manufacturers and what was it like building the business?
This goes back to what I was saying before, basically. Scarcity creates demand.
Okay.
This is what I implemented. I was thinking back then, why didn't I do that? I took that upon myself to do that now. So then I was pretty much drip feeding people to be like, here you go. I was treating them like babies. Like, I'll release a full-on collection when I feel that there's a demand, basically. So I was adjusting the inventory depending on how much people actually want it.
And how were you gauging how much people wanted it?
You can kind of gauge from like the traction, the people reposting, the comments, the interaction. You can always like gauge. Of course, as I was saying, numbers do lie. Numbers do lie because people can be like, oh, I'm buying that straight away when it comes out.
And then they don't.
And then when it releases, I'll be like, hey, like, yeah, like, place your order. Like, I'm looking at the list, I'm like, you haven't placed your order. Yeah. So it's them ones like, take it with a pinch of salt. But I had to kind of adjust the way I was kind of releasing stuff. So like up till today, it's kind of, I feel like it harms me in a way, to be honest, the way I'm doing it. I'm not gonna lie, but I'll go into it later. But I feel like it is harming me a little bit.
Yeah, go into it now.
But okay, basically the way I'm doing it is like I do drops basically.
Yep.
So I basically release stuff in like one at a time.
Yeah.
One at a time, sells out, close my website. People DM me constantly and be like, do you have this hoodie? Do you still have this? Do you have this? And I'll be like, oh nah, sorry, sold out. If you think about it, I could have capitalized and
on that
increased my inventory, but it's weird because people don't understand the designs that I'm making is from things that I've gone through, a lot of them. The reason why I do that is literally like self-sabotage. The reason why I started the brand, you know, like how I started with the 50 pieces and I saw that I failed that. That's literally why I'm like this. That's why I'm releasing like drops like this, because I'm scared that if I increase it too much, I might slip and be like, oh crap, it's not sold out. Oh, it's still there, it's sitting for months. I'm scared of failing, and that's how I actually create that piece. I want to fly, but I'm afraid to fall.
You're managing your expectations in that sense.
I'm just kind of, it's like I'm sabotaging myself. Yeah. It's weird. I don't know. I need to stop that.
No, you do.
I really need to stop because I look at other brands. There's other brands that I know that are like on 2,000 followers, 3,000 followers. They have a warehouse. They're full-time living on that. If I'm being honest with myself, I could be doing that. Yeah. But it's because I'm not capitalizing and just release the stock to them. Because there's plenty of people that want it, but I'm just holding it off and just release this. It's gone. You wait. And it's like, I don't know why I'm doing it.
This is going to become like a therapy session.
Yeah.
When do you plan to change that?
This year for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, this year for sure. It's like, I'm aware of how I act basically. And I'm aware that I'm doing that. It just takes time to kind of change that kind of way of thinking.
Facts.
It's just because of, not really trauma, but it's just because of what I went through. That I saw that whole collection, that was my whole savings that I put on that.
Damn.
Down the drain.
As in the 50?
The 50 pieces I did was like it's like $1,500. And this was back when I was like
young, bro.
Young.
Fresh out of uni and that.
I was just literally just working, had that was my whole savings. I just thought, I'll sell something. Down the drain, basically. That's what causes me to act like this. Like I'm just hindering myself from basically like moving forward.
And all now, this is 5 years later.
Yeah, it's still affecting me. Yeah.
Do you know what? When I have conversations like this with people, not just designers or whatever, but the first step's admitting, innit? And as you said, you know.
Yeah, that, I know. Yeah, I know my heart. I know. Yeah.
So what sort of things are kind of stopping you from taking that leap, other than this sort of thought process? Is it the fact that you've obviously got a family to look after and whatnot? Like, what do you think it is?
Yeah, I think it's that as well, basically, because it's like you don't see a lot of people in my position, to be honest. Not a lot of people, like a lot of clothing brand designers, they might be young, they might be single. Bro, I've got a family. Like, I'm not just gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just quit.
Go all in.
Yeah. I should have that mentality, but the thing is, I don't have that mentality because of the job that I'm in. I'll just be so reliant on that and be like, even if I don't make it in this clothing space, I got a well-paid job. Like, here's what it is. But I need to basically pretend as if this is literally it. If I fail, I fail in life. I need to think that I don't even have a job. That's the way I need to think to succeed, basically. And it's like, I know it, but it took long for me to basically get there. Like, in this current stage, now I understand that I need to basically give the people what they want, basically. And that's what I'm basically going to do.
Please. Yeah. Please do. I put up a video literally yesterday, funnily enough. Have you heard of that blogger, like YouTube blogger, Bliss Foster?
Sounds familiar.
I'll send you his content. Yeah. Wavy. But he made a video a couple of years back just basically talking about his advice for designers, innit? Yeah. And he said in the video, this was his last, I think he gave 3 main reasons, tips or whatever. And he said, work hard, work hard, work hard. And the main reason he said put 100% into your work is because if you believe that you've been gifted with a talent as a designer, the world needs it.
Yeah.
So he was saying like, don't necessarily look at it from your own perspective. Look at it from somebody else's perspective and be empathetic to them. Like, I'm going to do what I need to do to accommodate for you type thing. And consider the stories you're telling. Bro, the stories you're telling with your pieces must be really resonating and helping people, you know?
Yeah.
From time you said that they're based on personal things that you've gone through, there could be 10 other people that went through that as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So you limiting things that way,
I know.
you get your limit. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I need to stop that. I need to stop. I know. I'm changing.
Do you know? I'm happy you're really honest about it, bro. Because it's not easy. Obviously, considering everything you said, having a family and whatnot, like it's big stuff, bro. It's hard to go all in.
Yeah, it is. Because I'm not gonna just jump ship and then if it fails, I'm
back to square. You get what I'm saying?
But I need to stop thinking that. I need to just feel like I need to think to myself like that's just plan A. There's no plan.
There's no plan B.
I need to think that way, but I never thought that way. But now I do.
Okay.
So now things are gonna.
Yeah. So we're good then.
Yeah. Now things are gonna change.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
So at the moment, then, what's it like balancing the family life and whatever with running the brand?
I'm quite a chilled person. I don't really get stressed out. So it's kind of like, to me, I can say it's easy. But to someone else, they'll be like, I think even my work colleague says this to me, literally. She might even end up listening to this. She said she wants to listen. She basically said, like, how are you even doing it, basically? Like, you got a clothing brand, you've got a family, like, you're in this job, basically. Like, she was like, how do you even juggle so many things, kind of thing? I myself, I don't even know, to be honest. It's just, it's a matter of time management. That's like the key to everything. You manage your time, everything, you can get anything done, to be honest.
No, do you not, Josh? It's so interesting that we're having this convo as well, because I was speaking to my bedroom, one of my best friends. He's also got 2 kids as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we was literally, it was almost like a therapy session where he was just chatting like, bro, like it's hard, like time, this and that, rare. So it's just mad I'm having a similar convo to someone else that's got 2 kids now. Do you get what I mean? So like, what sort of things do you do to make sure that you're managing time correctly? Like, and what, obviously, not every designer is going to be in a position where they have to manage it to the degree you manage it in. Yeah. But I'm sure it would help them if they kind of know how you do yours. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I always make sure that I make time for family. Like, even when I'm like designing something, like my wife and kids know, like I'll be downstairs with them. My kids might be shouting, fighting in the background. I'm just zoned out, just on the laptop, just designing something. They'll be like, oh, daddy, can I have this? Can I have this? Yeah.
Go.
It's just them ones like, I don't know. I can zone out, but still be present with them, because I don't want it to be a case where I'm designing in my room and then I'm just distancing myself from my family just because of my business, basically. Because God forbid anything happens, they'll just be like, oh yeah, like, I'll be like, oh, the last time I kind of spent time with them was like few months ago, like a few weeks ago. So I don't want that to be the case. I always want to be like present around them. So yeah, that's my advice.
Make sure you prioritize in the right way, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah.
So back to Swamp, basically. Yeah. So cool. Where would you say we're at now with Swamp? Like, would you say we're at the point where you know you can take it to the next level? You just need to put things into place to take it to the next level. And what does the next level look like, actually? Because there's one thing saying you're gonna meet the demand more, but what does that come with? Do you know what I'm saying? What else you need to kind of do around that?
Yeah. For me, obviously, a lot of businesses, the ultimate goal, not the ultimate goal, but like that milestone for them is like 6 figures, basically. That's one goal for me, like 6 figures. You can 5 figures, that's nothing. You can turn that over. 6 figures is a game changer for me, basically. And in my honest opinion, in the humblest way possible, I could have done that. I could have done that if I implemented what I'm basically telling myself now. I was hindering myself so much that I was basically like making myself fail on purpose. But now that I've noticed that and I'm cognizant of that, I'm like, okay, scrap that. Doesn't matter if I fail. Let me just roll with it, act as if this is my full-time job basically, and just do what I need to do. So yeah, at this point, that's like the main goal basically. But I feel like to achieve that inventory, you need to basically, it's supply and demand. The demand is there, the supply wasn't there. The supply needs to be there now basically. So that's what I need to execute this year, pretty much.
So you just, when you're getting your pieces, you just need to make more orders basically.
That's literally it.
Literally it.
That's literally it. Because I mean, everything else
Is there, bro.
is there.
Yeah.
People have asked to stock my stuff in the store. I said no. I tell you, literally, I sabotaged myself. There's something in me that was saying, nah, this it's not ready. I don't know why I was doing it to myself. It's weird, so weird. Because I market a lot. Because I noticed that the pieces that I make, they resonated a lot with the European countries like Italy and Spain for some weird reason.
But I can imagine why though. Because let's
Yeah,
say the
probably.
oil paintings that you're doing.
Yeah,
it
probably
makes
exactly
sense.
that.
Yeah.
So then I thought, okay, let me market to them. Traction came in on a craziness. That's when someone reached out and said that we want to stock your stuff. But I said no.
Oh, was it abroad as well?
Yeah, in Italy. I
Wow.
said no. I know. I said no. I thought about it, but I thought, nah, time is not right. I said nah. I said I appreciate it, but nah, not at this point. But looking back, I feel like it was the right choice though.
Oh, that you didn't?
That I didn't do that.
Why?
I didn't feel like I was ready. I didn't feel like I knew enough information. I didn't feel like I know enough. I knew enough at that present time. Like how much I know now, basically. So looking back, I feel like it was like a good thing. It was a good thing that I failed. Like it was a good thing. I'm happy that I didn't sell those 50 pieces. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm happy.
To where you are today, really.
Yeah, I'm happy. Like, but yeah, it's just knowing when to do the right thing, and I just thought that was the right thing to do. Like I'm not gonna do that right now.
Do you know what, Josh? It's interesting that you're saying all these things about the brand, because from the outside looking in, I can kind of gauge these things. And when I say that, like, it's not like your brand, I've seen it on X celebrity and da-da-da-da-da. It's like I can really tell people are messing with it because they mess with it, like because of the stories that you're telling and the way you're telling them and whatnot. But then part of me also said, why is it not bigger? Like, I feel like it could be doing so much more. Like, I feel like I should see it here and I should see it there. Like, this is something I've never seen before. And if I had all the money in the world, I would want certain things that I feel like other people didn't have or had seen. Do you get what I'm saying? So therefore, I was telling myself, why have I not seen it on this footballer that can afford any brand they want?
Could
you
be
get it?
Because I sabotage myself, and it leads back to the supply part. Do you know how many countless of stylists have reached out?
Yeah.
I need this for, I'm not even gonna name drop them. I need it for this person, need it for this person. Names that I was like, what?
Yeah.
Found one name, they were like Chris Brown. I was like, what? Yo,
wait,
crazy.
Chris Brown?
Yeah. They were like, I need it for him. I need it for this guy. I need it for this guy. I was like, no way. I need it for Davido. I was saying, no way. I need this piece. I was like, oh, sorry, man, sold out. I flopped myself. I didn't have the supply. I kid you not. It's literally like in the back of my head, I was just like, yeah, don't have the supply and just mess yourself up. It could have been on countless of celebrities.
This is what I'm saying.
Countless. The only ones it's been on is because fortunately they contacted me
at the right time.
Right at the right time. They contacted me before I dropped it, or when there was like one or two left, basically.
And it has to fit them as well.
And it has to fit them. Literally, like Kiera was the first stylist that got it bang on.
Did she get it on Nave Smalls?
No, she got it on. She wanted it for, if I remember correctly, forgive me if I get it wrong, Kiera. What was it? She wanted it for RD.
Okay.
She wanted it extra small.
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh damn, I didn't even know people run like that. But I was like, oh okay. I was even thinking, let me quickly get a sample because this might be my first gig kind of thing. I couldn't get extra small like in time, basically, because stylists, they work on like a quick turnaround kind of thing. I didn't have it, basically. Fumbled myself there again. But then coincidentally, the time that she asked me one time is when it just came in.
Okay.
That's why it could happen. But if I had the supply, like if I had so much inventory, it would have got round to all of these celebrities. But it's just never, yeah.
Speaking of this, because obviously I don't want to call it celebrity marketing, but
Yeah.
you get what I mean. Influencer marketing is a way a lot of brands kind of market their brand or whatever. Like, because you don't do a lot of that, how do you kind of market your brand? Because also at the beginning of the conversation, you were saying that back then what you thought was marketing wasn't marketing.
Yeah.
So how are you marketing the brand now?
I was just posting pictures back then.
Yeah.
Marketing now, obviously, I'm using like Facebook ads, mainly Facebook ads, because you can obviously retarget that demographic, the people that are actually interacting with like your website and Instagram, and then obviously Instagram ads, and then TikTok. That's a whole nother. We'll get to TikTok. That's a whole nother thing. But
I didn't even know you had a TikTok.
I only started it recently, but yeah, but we'll get into that. That's TikTok is a bit.
You're not really feeling it.
Nah, but the marketing right now, I just do what I do. Like I researched heavily into marketing, like how you're supposed to market, how to find your actual demographic, like people that will actually turn, what is it called, interactions into conversions. Once I figured that out, that's when things started clicking, basically. My friend also assisted me with it as well.
Sick.
So then that's how everything kind of just clicked into place. Yeah.
So how did you get to the point where you knew that? When you say research, you're just Googling YouTube videos?
Literally just like YouTube videos. And it was trial and error. I was basically trialing out London fashion audiences, weren't messing with the brand like that. They all liked the picture, weren't messing with the brand like that. I'll go tapestry audience, weren't messing with the brand. Gothic audience, bang, hit. Everyone always associates my brand with kind of like this Gothic kind of.
Yeah, it gives them sort of vibe.
About it, and that's the theme I go for.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I'm a Christian and they always be like, oh no, you shouldn't like darkness.
Yeah.
But the two themes in my brand is actually darkness and Christianity.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's really dark.
Yeah.
The designs like Lost Souls is about like what's it called, people going into hell and stuff like that.
Wrestling with death.
That's what I mean. Wrestling with death. There's a lot of pieces that the goths like because it's dark, and that's why it goes back to what I was saying. I don't want it to just be Christians wearing my pieces. I want everyone to wear it, regardless of the message. What I'm trying to convey is a different story. There's like a design I made basically is a skeleton with two cards. One card was heaven, one was hell, and the skeleton was picking hell. One person could look at that and be like, oh yeah, he's picking hell. Yes, like go hell. No, I was trying to say that like where we are as a society, people rather choose hell over heaven. They like, basically people like doing what you're not supposed to do. What's bad always feels good, basically.
Facts.
So I was trying to convey that message. So the goths might see it and be like, oh yeah, like, oh, he's picking hell, whatever. Some people might see it and be like, I can feel that there's a strong message behind this.
It's all about people's perspective, really.
That's what I mean. That's why I make designs that kind of, you can look at it however you want, basically. It's your own perception. But I have the main message behind it. If you talk to me, I'll tell you what the message is.
Speaking of that, Josh, it's interesting because obviously each one of your pieces has a story in itself.
Yeah.
And you said that if people talk to you, they can get the full story and whatnot. How do you kind of tell those stories other than the designs? Or do you feel like because the designs kind of speak for themselves, you don't even need to? Like, have you ever thought about making films for particular collections or things like that? Do you know what I mean?
I have thought about that, to be honest, because the thing is, not everyone. There was times where I got like DMs, people asking like what does this design mean? Like, what's the kind of meaning behind your brand? A lot of people were like, oh, okay, I get it. It's like they use kind of Christian themes here and there. But then sometimes I just make it so obvious that you know the message behind this piece, basically. Like there's countless of pieces that I've made that is pretty obvious what I'm trying to convey. There's one new piece that I've made that is so unique that you might not even be able to grasp it.
Is this the one that's coming out on the 29th? Or is it?
Nah, another one that's coming out next month.
Okay.
Called Death from Above, where a skeleton is at the top of the mountain and there's like a crow at the top of the mountain. I was trying to convey the message that when you're trying to reach to the top, there's always going to be trials and tribulations. There's going to be things that's slowing you down, people are just trying to tempt you, like to stray you away from that journey. And the skeleton that died on top of the mountain is the person that didn't make it. And he was so close to reaching the pinnacle, basically. That's what I am trying to convey from that particular piece. Each piece, that's why I said, I'm an author. I'm literally making stories for people, but people don't see that. They'll just be like, oh, he's a designer.
Yeah.
But nah.
More than that.
Yeah.
Do you know, I think it's good that you give people that, I think it's good that you tell the story only to a certain degree, because it gives people that ambiguity around what the piece actually means. Makes people think about it more. It intrigues them more. Do you know what I'm saying? So it can be a good thing. But I also do feel like it's a double-edged sword in the sense that when you look at the brand as a whole, exactly. Do you get what I mean? Like, what's the brand story of Swamp, if that makes sense? Because from my research and whatever, maybe from your research as well, it's like the brands that reach the top, it's like people can kind of tell you what the brand means and what it represents. You get what I mean? I'm putting you on the spot now, like what does Swamp represent overall? Because although the stories do have like some synergies, one might say that they're also different as well. Do you know what I mean?
And that's the thing with my brand is like, when I started, it was heavily just focused on society. Like how the enslaved had a watchdog piece, like showing how society manipulates people. I still convey that message with a lot of stuff I design now, just with like a Christian twist to it. So I've kind of blended two of it kind of together. And that's what I've basically honed in on and just ran with that. Sometimes it might focus more on the society side. Sometimes it might focus a lot on the Christianity side. Most times it's kind of intertwined. Like one design, I think is the top selling one, the Lost Souls, basically, is both on the Christian side and the society side. I was saying that there's a lot of lost souls right now because a lot of people are just a bit wayward, that they just
don't know whether we're coming or going.
That's what I mean. They're just like, it's like they have no purpose in life. It's just like roam the streets, do this, no goals, no ambitions. They're just living life. They don't care about afterlife. They don't care about nothing. So that's why I'm conveying this. As in, this is current society. And it's also something that Christianity has been talking about, lost souls. That's how I basically created that design. So it does merge, like intertwine both of those.
It's interesting because what you just said kind of shows me that you really understand your audience. Like, as you said, it's like the Gothic space or whatever. What goes into that understanding? Like, once you realize through doing like ads and stuff or whatever, where you kind of deep, these are the ones that work. How did you then discover what sort of designs would resonate with them?
I think it was just putting myself in their shoes, to be honest. If you basically put yourself in someone else's shoes and look at your brand with fresh eyes, it's so clear to you, like what demographic you fit in. I basically had to pretend as if I was like in an out of body experience and look at my brand with fresh eyes and be like, if I was to honestly look at this brand, who will be the ideal person to target? And if I'm honest with myself, it's not Christians. There will be Christians, but it will be goths. It will be people that like that kind of dark theme. So I knew. So when I tested out that market and it was a hit, I was like, there you go.
So you knew that before you tested it? Okay.
I was sure of it, but then I tested it just to make sure that I was making sense. When it hit, I was like, there you go.
So that's how you got understanding of your market, by taking yourself out of yourself and trying to look for your brand with fresh eyes. But that's so difficult when you're in the thick of it. Do you know what I mean? How are you even able to like...
I mean, it's difficult, but you have to just be honest with yourself. There's designs that I've basically designed and I'm just like, nah, this is not it. I've put myself in someone else's position and looked at it and it was, would I buy this basically? If I was one of my audiences, one of the people that, like one of my followers basically, if I was to look at this piece, would I buy it? I was like, scrap it. This is after I spent like £200 on an oil painting, an idea that I've come up with, and I've told a painter, paint this for me. And spent like 18 hours painting it for me, sends it to me. I'm like, okay, I create like a 3D mock-up and I'm like, nah, this is not
Saying it.
Money just goes down the drain. I'm just like, nah, let's leave that for now. It's just part of the game.
Really part of the game, man.
Yeah, you just...
Do you know what, Josh? I want to take the conversation somewhere else. And I want to speak more about like personal branding. Because as we're speaking, yeah, it's making me, because I'm a huge advocate for designers branding themselves. Because I feel like we're at a stage where Virgil's a great example of it, where it's like designers are almost like celebs in themselves. Clint is a great example of it, where I see him in Paris the other day and people are lining up to take pictures with him. And that. There was a point where that wasn't a thing for designers. You'd have to be a bloody footballer or musician. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why I'm for personal branding. But like, as you're kind of describing your brand and the way you tell stories, it's almost as if you don't even necessarily have to be attached to it at all, and people will always buy into it. Have you thought like that before?
I didn't think like that, but I feel like I only did it because I needed to distance myself because of the whole comparison thing. I didn't like that I was comparing myself to other people. Everyone's on a different path. Just stay in your own lane and focus on what you need to do. Someone can be doing something else. Good on them, but that's not your path. So I don't need to heavily attach myself to the brand. Of course, people will still see me like behind the scenes and stuff like that. I could care less. That's the thing. I'm basically providing you with a service. I'm giving you what you want, basically. You can see me. You can see pictures here and there. But I don't need to basically go out my way to be like on my personal, posting so many pictures, here and there. I might post a picture of my brand or whatever. When I started out, you need to do that, of course. But when you've built a following and people know already and trust in like the designs you're making, they trust in the message so much that they're just buying into it. I feel like I've done enough, basically.
And that's what I was basically trying to say. It does seem like you have to be honest.
Yeah. And that's just how I am, to be honest. Yeah.
So what made you want to do this then?
What, as in clothing?
No, as in this conversation.
I don't know. I'm not even this type of person.
This is what I'm saying.
Interviews and all of that. But I don't know. I feel like it's always good to, obviously, you need to have a face to a brand, basically. I always feel like it's good to basically, as they say, hear from the horse's mouth, hear why I'm creating this actual design. Because a lot of people ask me in the DMs, what does this mean? Like, what's the ethos of the brand? Like, how did it stem? Like, where did it stem from? I'm basically going to show them, if you need to know anything,
watch this.
just watch this, and this will just basically... just tell you. That's why I'm actually filming a documentary as well.
Sick.
Yeah.
So you are doing the personal branding thing.
I'm filming a documentary because I'm creating like a whole hour-and-a-half video to show you step by step, like just about me.
Yeah.
It might be like behind the scenes, but I'm just showing you me, basically, just to know, like, I'm just a normal
guy.
It's a normal guy.
And in that docu, you're gonna basically tell. Because as you were saying, all the pieces you make have a story that reflects in your life. Yeah. Are you basically going to tell those stories then, kind of thing?
A little bit, but I'll say I've said more here about my designs, basically. A few people know, but it's like a lot of people, they're not really aware of like the magnitude of the designs that I make. Like, there's like a huge story behind it, a huge story. But they just like the designs, and that's all good and well. That's fine. But there's a tiny bit in me. I'm like, I feel like I want them to know the story behind it.
Because I can't lie, bro. There's therefore added value. Now that I know that, because for me, as I told you, I basically bought into it from just a design perspective. But then when I read the New Wave interview, I started to buy into it from an ethos perspective. And it's like everything started to make sense. And now I'm speaking to you and you're saying that the stories are personal to you. It's added a whole nother layer, bro. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. That's the thing. That's why I'm doing this, because I feel like, it's just, you need to explain the story sometimes just to give that kind of clarity, and just people might just want to know. Might be intrigued. And that's why I'm doing this.
We do, because I was so intrigued. Like, for example, because as you said, the brand kind of appeals to goths and whatnot. I got that. Then I'm seeing you, bro. Then I'm speaking to you like, just a guy from South. And I'm like, I wasn't expecting that. You get what I'm saying? But I think it's good for people to see that, because it's like, we shouldn't box ourselves in. We're multifaceted people. We've all gone through different things in life. Design whatever you want.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So big up you on like breaking boundaries in that sense and not feeling like you have to be restricted to just doing this or just doing that. Like you've found the things that resonate with you and you said, I want to tell this story, and you've decided to tell it in a way that other people aren't telling it, and that is sick.
Yeah.
So big up you on that, Josh, for real, man.
Appreciate it.
I wanted to ask, what's your like, we're going to round it off in a sec, but I was going to ask, what's your like, what pieces are most special to you?
I'll say it has to be that I Want to Fly by I'm Afraid to Fall, because I think you're the first person I've told as well.
Serious?
Yeah, no one knows. No one knows.
Told you, therapy session, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Let that out, bro.
It's crazy.
Let that out.
Not even like my parents, my wife. No one knows. No one knows that that's literally what I was just going through. It's just a headspace I was in. So then I hit up my graphic designer. My mind was like foggy. I was just like, I know what I want something to look like. Just design it for me. I was just like, I have a picture of a man like transcending into heaven, basically just going up. But then at the same time, there's going to be arms, like hands trying to grab him and pull him down. I was saying, okay, that's strong enough for me. I said, make me something like that. She showed me something first. I said, no, that's not it. Kept doing it until I was just like, that's good enough. And that's what came out. Yeah.
And deep, that's the piece that kind of brought us together in a way.
Yeah.
I told you, that's like the first thing that made me say, yo, what is this? Like, and now you're here, fam.
Yeah, I'll say that's like the number one thing that people are like, that's mad. Because I think it's because it was so bright as well that when I started marketing it, it just stood out on Instagram, basically.
But then and I think, were you cognizant of the fact that you put it on did you put it on a baby blue?
Yeah.
On purpose.
Yeah.
So like that, what's that word? What's the word, man? But it's like, it's a dark sort of message.
Yeah.
But then you put it on a color that, for example, guys don't even usually wear.
Yeah, I know.
So you
that's the thing, like, there's a lot of designs that I make that are quite juxtaposed, or like, it feels
that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, it's just heavily, like, it feels like it's incongruous, like it doesn't even belong there.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
You're thinking like it should be on like something dark.
It's
weird, but it's a dark message.
Yeah.
It might have been a dark place I was in, but it's still like a bright ending, basically. Like the top is still bright. I just felt like that's just how I wanted to convey it. Yeah. And it worked like that.
Yeah. Because you're a deep thinker still.
Because if you look at all the other pieces, like black, grey, black, I think that was probably one of the first ones that was just bright. Because I think there was one friend that was telling me, she was saying, I love your brand, but why is it so dark? And like, I was just like,
was she you said she, so
yeah, she was just saying, why is it so dark? I said, I don't know why, because the imagery and the designs I come up with is always from like kind of a dark place. I just feel like there's just a lot of bad stuff going on in like society, basically. So she said, oh yeah, you should probably try brighten it up. It might kind of appeal to the audience. That's basically how.
When she said that, what did you first think?
I just thought, forget that.
Yeah, you forget that.
Yeah, literally. Like, I was thinking, I'll stick to dark if I want. But then I thought, let me just try it. Came up with that dark message, but I thought, let me just keep it to, it still correlates with the sky, him going up to heaven. Okay, let me just keep it and make it blue, basically.
Has that been your most popular piece so far?
That and the Lost Souls one.
Crazy.
Yeah. People to this day are still asking, and I've just said, it's not coming out again. It's coming out maybe later, but it's not on the radar.
Yeah, because as you said, once the story's out there, you don't necessarily want to relive that moment or But it's interesting, just because as you're moving into a new phase of you and the brand, in the sense that you're and not to put it on you where you're saying you're going all in, but you're not going to let the past trauma that you've been through and whatnot hold you back from fulfilling what you know you can fulfill. I'm intrigued to see how that's going to reflect in the design sense.
I feel the designs are going to stay the same, but I feel like I basically want to go back to the roots as well. So like what I was making before, like the cotton hoodies.
You want to go back to that?
It still had a message.
Yeah.
But I don't want to basically just get rid of that.
Okay.
there's people that have been following me since those days. I still want to bring back the cotton hoodies, but I still want the message to be strong.
Yep.
So I still want to have the knitwear, because the knitwear is like, that's like the bread and butter. That was like the buy-in for people. So I'm still going to keep that, but I feel like I still want to go back to the roots and bring
other stuff as well.
Bring that with me, basically.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, no, I'm proper excited for you, Josh, man.
Yeah.
After having this convo, like, obviously I've got to know you. I've actually got to see what you look like as well. So it's been proper nice chatting to you and whatnot. And I'm definitely more endeared to the brand as well, especially knowing that all those stories are personal to you. And I'm proper excited to see what the next part of your brand journey looks like. Yeah. But obviously you've seen all the episodes and whatnot. And you know, we asked one last question, which is like, what would be your main piece of advice for the next generation of up and coming fashion talent, if you want to put it that way?
That's a tricky one. I mean, there's loads of...
Yeah, to be fair, don't even just use one. You can say whatever.
Yeah, there's loads, but I'll say the number one thing might sound cliche, but it's research, to be honest. Think of it like this. Research is basically the road directions, the road signs that you see on a motorway. Imagine a motorway with no road signs. It shows you how many miles you are to like your destination. It might say London, 15 miles. Without those road signs, you're just going to be going straight. You're not going to know.
Forever.
You're not going to know.
No idea where you're going.
You're not going to know where to navigate. If you don't research, how would you know the direction you're supposed to go in? So don't take it lightly. That's what I tell people. Don't take it lightly, because I did, and then look what happened to me. Crazy. So I feel like research is literally the road sign. It's the roadmap to how you can get to your destination. That's the biggest thing for me.
Wait, you know when that was so wavy? You know how you said, do you have a few things?
Yeah.
Give another one. Give more.
Marketing is like the second biggest thing. Marketing. Because you can have the waviest product ever. Your marketing could be terrible. You can be showing it to the wrong people. That's like me showing my designs to like babies. Like, you need to know what to market, if you know what I mean. Like, it makes no sense. I can be marketing my brand to like single ladies, 30s to 50s. What do single ladies know about knitwear and my tapestry? They don't know nothing. That's what I mean. You need to know your target audience, like off the back of your hand. And if someone's to ask me, I'll know from the back of my hand, 18 to 24, goths and people that are into art. Done.
Simple.
Straight. So if someone's to ask you and you don't know, you fumbled, go back and you need to know. Those two are like key, and you need to have a story behind your brand. That's what makes you like make it in the long run. It's all good and well you having TikTok, you go viral, that's all fine. But is it gonna last in 2 to 5 years? That's the problem. Are you just doing it for hype and getting into that trend, or are you doing it to basically like make a like long lasting impact? And that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I don't like jumping on trends too much, because it can hinder you sometimes. People just look at you as like, oh, this is a TikTok brand. It brings in sales, but nah.
It's all about the long game.
Yeah. So I'm just slow but steady. Oh man. Josh,
thank you so much, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Bro, no, honestly, as I said before, it was sick getting to know you. I like your countenance, man. You're mad calm. You know, I'm quite energetic, but you balanced me out. Do you know what I mean? So no, man, that was sick, bro. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I've learned a lot, and I really like the last 3 keys you gave. So you said research, marketing, have a story. Perfect. So I love when people kind of bullet point it, because it's going to be so easy for me to clip up. Do you know what I'm saying? But Josh, where can people find you? Because obviously you're going to put this on your personal Instagram and that, obviously.
Yeah, I might do.
Whoa!
I might do.
Hey, I'll get you signed a contract. Okay? So where can they find you, and where can they find the brand? What can we expect?
Yeah, so the brand, you can find it at Swamp Clo. My personal one is Josh Olukoka. Obviously, everything's archived. You could see a few highlights, but I mean, I might change that. I might unarchive a few pictures just so they can see what I'm doing, see what I'm messing with. But yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
Yep. Perfect, Josh. Again, thanks so much, bro.
Appreciate
And
it, man.
you all know where to find us. Obviously, you're watching on the YouTube now, or you could be listening, but we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts. We might even be on Deezer or anything like that. But Instagram, WMTV_LDN. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm sure you learned a lot. As I always say, keep it locked. Thanks for watching another episode of Where's My Podcast. If you ever want to take in future episodes on the go, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Whilst you're there, please leave us a 5-star review. It would really help. And also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, WMTV_LDN, to keep up to date with the latest goings on in UK fashion. Keep it locked.